So no Republican plan, no Republican plan about the economy, but remember Pee Wee Herman riding side saddle on his bicycle, then being suddenly flung from it, crashing headfirst into the lawn, staggering to his feet in front of a bunch of kids and announcing, "I meant to do that"? Tonight, the political equivalent of that comes to us from RNC Chairman Michael Steele, who contends that everything from his fight with boss Limbaugh to his own 180 on a woman's right to choose was all prearranged, all part of a master plan. His master plan. They meant to do that. Steele's trap, telling CNN's Don Lemon that he would consider a run for the White House, but only if, quote, that is where God wants me to be at that time. Well, maybe not God's plan. Steele then claiming that his fight with Limbaugh was at least his plan all along.
I'm a cause and effect kind of guy. So if I do something, there's a reason for it. Even it may look like a mistake, a gaffe. There's a rationale, there's a logic behind it. It helps me understand my position on the chessboard. It helps me understand, you know, where the enemy camp is and where those who are inside the tent are.
It's all strategic.
It's all strategic.
Let's bring in a strategist, Democratic strategist, Chris Kofinas. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Keith.
All right, we'll get to the idea that he pre-plans his gaffes on purpose in a minute. But if Steele meant for, say, the fight with Limbaugh to happen, does this not contradict his previous assertion and Limbaugh's and everybody else's in the GOP that it was Democrats who've been behind the Steele-Limbaugh battle and they overinflated it and it's all everybody else's fault? It turns out, oh, no, this was planned.
Yeah, just a little bit. This whole Steele saga is becoming a surreal, comical disaster. What's funny, putting aside the fact that they no longer are blaming Democrats for this whole Rush Limbaugh fiasco, apparently this was all part of Michael Steele's master plan. He meant to insult Rush Limbaugh, then he meant to apologize, and he meant to basically distract everyone from the focus of his job, which is to rebuild the Republican Party. The part that's odd about that is he basically is saying that he meant to insult Rush Limbaugh, which I think means he has to apologize again. I'm starting to get confused. I've lost myself in his whole strategery of his argument.
Yeah, so if these are pre-planned gaffes, if this is his strategy, would that not tell us he's probably a really bad strategist?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's fair to call Michael Steele a strategist. I mean, what he's basically doing is real damage to the Republican Party, and I think if you talk to Republicans privately, they would all probably agree. It's come to the point now where there clearly needs to be some kind of intervention amongst the Republican leaders to basically tell Michael Steele to stop talking to the press. You're not helping either the Republican Party or yourself.
Are you suggesting that you would like to see an intervention on behalf of the Republican Party? I mean, I think you need to fess up here. Isn't it in every Democrat's interest in the world, every liberal's interest in the world and possibly other planets to donate money to any campaign that involves him or keeps him in the forefront? Isn't he the best thing maybe the Democrats have going this side of the president?
I'm afraid to say yes, because they may actually listen. The reality is he is a real disaster, and every day it seems to get worse. You have to wonder what the real master plan here is. He uses the chess analogy in part of his interview. He's not Bobby Fischer, that's for sure. I mean, this is just one misstep after another, and it seems he's like a rogue agent out there on his own, making these press interviews without any consultation with either his staff or the Republican Party, and just seemingly talking out of thin air, addressing every question with no idea where the answer is coming from. But again, for our purposes, it's a good thing.
Subtract the party part of it out of it. Let's just say this is a politician. You're not interested in which party he belongs to. You're not interested in his points. You're looking purely at it, strategist to strategist. If somebody said to you, look, I'm doing this deliberately. I'm picking this fight deliberately so I can find out where the enemy camp is and where those inside the tent are. Would you say, I don't think you know what you're talking about? I mean, have you ever heard anybody try something like deliberately start a controversy internally inside either party just to see where everybody's standing?
Yeah, this must be Michael Steele's super secret strategy of gaffes and how to rebuild the party through gaffes. It just doesn't make any sense. It is not a strategy. Listen, if you're being serious about this, look at the model of Howard Dean in terms of how he rebuilt the Democratic Party. And there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You can rebuild the parties through, focus on fundraising, focus on grassroots, maybe a combination of both. The reality is what Howard Dean did was focus on this 50-state strategy. It was very smart. It built a grassroots foundation that led to then, President Obama. It was a very smart strategy. Michael Steele is no strategist. Unfortunately, I think the Republican Party knows that as well.
The Democratic strategist, Chris Kofinas, all of whose gaffes are unintentional. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Keith.